All right. Hello. Welcome back to the Michael Cisco Show. I don't know how my internet's going to do because I'm using a mobile hotspot because I just moved, and Xfinity failed to deliver today. But welcome to the show. Special guest, the husband of a mulatto, Mark Lutchman. Welcome to the Michael Cisco Show. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm feeling black. So when I say it, I guess that must be good.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm setting up super chats on my entropy. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as a little bit more in depth than the mulatto black husband?
Yeah, sure thing. So Mark Lutchman, I've been doing kind of social media politics since 2016, since when Trump announced that he was running and all that. Well, 2015 actually. Started off on Facebook and making videos, stuff like that, just like boomer type stuff. As my political journey, came along, I went through a lot of the Con Inc. type stuff. Was involved with Turning Point USA, Blexit, Candace Owens, all these, all the Con Inc. type people, Charlie Kirk, and and then I met my now wife Megan, and she red pilled me on a lot of stuff, and I've been kind of going down the red pill rabbit hole. So no, I'm not Con Inc. If you're thinking like, oh, this guy's like some freaking fiscal conservative, no, not at all. I would consider myself deeply socially conservative. A big believer in Jesus Christ, big believer in the Bible. Don't know where I would put my denomination as of yet. Me and Michael have been in talks of Orthodox, the Orthodox denomination, which I'm open to. I don't know much about it, but what I know is that the Bible is 100% true, and conservative, pro-Trump, America first, all that stuff, and yeah.
We're gonna fix race relations in the United States today. It's gonna be great.
No, we're gonna make them worse.
I know this episode's definitely gonna get demonetized and may possibly taken down from YouTube, but whatever.
Very possibly.
Okay.
Very
It's
possibly.
okay. It's okay. What do you think about the boats back to Liberia?
Setting boat. Oh yeah, let's go. Send them back. I'd volunteer, but
JK. And if anyone's wondering, I'm actually sitting on the floor of my apartment that I got a key to today with basically nothing in it. So hi Megan.
There's
Hi.
Megan. He says hi. She can't hear you.
Live?
Yeah, he's live right now.
That's so embarrassing.
We want to see what's in the fridge. He wants
to see what's in the fridge, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do all 6 of my live viewers right now. So
everything's a mess.
Yeah.
Everything's a mess, she says. But she's cleaning. She's doing her feminine duties prescribed to her by the Lord Jesus, that she must take responsibility for the household.
Yeah. Well, normally I stream at 9, but today we're a little early, and I'm competing directly against my friend Luke Kindred on Orthodoxy First, and we pretty much have the same fan base for the most part. So hopefully we're not hurting each other. He's probably hurting me more than I'm hurting him, but it's all good. So let's get into this. We're gonna be talking about critical race theory and what that means really going forward. Mary coming in any minute. Okay. I wonder who Aaron is. Do you know Aaron?
Where do I see the chat? Oh, does it pop up on the right here?
Yeah.
Cool. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. But anyway, what is critical race theory, and what does that mean for white people like myself?
It means the extinction of your people.
Well, that's grand.
Not good. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Definitely very subversive. I'm a firm believer that America is a white nation. It was built by white people, founded by white people. I think for white people. I don't believe in like an ethno state by any stretch of the imagination, but because that's just not possible, I don't think, and especially today's age with the internet and just like easily accessible travel and just how everything's globalized. You know what I mean? But I am a believer in a white supermajority. You know what I mean? I mean, if you look at any other country, right? Like you go to any country in Africa, how would they feel if millions of Europeans came there and started changing their way of life? They wouldn't take too kindly to it. So I'm a big believer in nationalism. I'm a big believer in keeping white people kind of the majority here in America and other European countries. Kind of where I'm at.
Man.
Yeah.
So you're a white majoritarian.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Have you dove into the I guess the way that the critical race theory people, how they framework or how they describe what do they portray race theory as? Critical race theory.
So essentially, my understanding of it is that it's Europeans who essentially are the imperialists throughout history who have essentially destroyed all, I guess, non-white cultures and countries and things like that. And it's the idea that the white supremacy needs to be dismantled. So essentially, like what I was talking about, the white majority, they basically believe the opposite, which is that whiteness needs to dissipate, and in its place, like a non-white coalition of non-whites, basically. My understanding of it. I mean, bad stuff, evil stuff, and we know who's behind it.
Yeah. I guess our system, if you think of it in one way, since you mentioned that our country was built by white people, basically for white people, it is kind of it's obviously a Eurocentric based system because it was built by people that came from Europe. So
yeah,
do these people appeal to that, or do they just because I'm kind of confused when I hear the systematic racism thing and white supremacy in the institutions. Are they basically referring to the fact that they were created by white people, or are they viewing it in some sort of infiltration sort of mode?
Yeah, they essentially go into the whole they basically believe that this country was made by white people for white people. I mean, they essentially believe the same thing. They just believe in different outcomes of that. They want to dismantle that, and like we kind of want to just keep it how it was intended.
Yeah. So, well, that's an interesting, because I know one of my criticisms with like wignats, for instance, or just to be clear, I know wignat is a kind of a derogatory term, often used against white nationalists, but not necessarily. I think it's really used to basically describe somebody who is just a tactical moron.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
they don't have the self-awareness to know when it's time to do something, when it's time to act, and then when there is a moment of escalation that is warranted, they always come out and say, "We told you so. Wignats were right." I'm like, yeah, but you're still a moron. So, but I think one of the criticisms that or one of the things that white nationalists fail to address all the time is that Africans or Black people have been here basically for 400 years, and there's not what is an ethical, and I haven't really seen a viable solution for many of them. But I also don't pay that much attention. I don't really like sit around on listening to TRS podcasts all day. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Black people have been here for 400 years at this point. Now, do I think that, modern day Black people, are an example of, what the American way of life should be? For sure not. You know what I mean? Like, I take a look at like, my fellow Blacks, and I'm very saddened by, the way of life that they have kind of established. And I don't think it's emblematic of the American way of life. Now, do I think that we need to start kicking Black people out? No, for sure not. There's definitely ways, there's definitely like ethical ways that we can kind of mend and heal race relations. But, what's going on right now is the total antithesis of that. What's going on right now is, the system, like all the institutions, academia and the media and, so on and so forth, are telling Black people to be angry with, their quote unquote white oppressors and to fight them, essentially. I mean, that's kind of the direction it's going. And you see a lot of these Black nationalist movements kind of growing. The Not Effing Around Coalition or something like that is a good example. Them marching down the street with like AKs, you know what I mean? And basically demanding that, they live in a separate, segregated, Black only area, which I mean, hey, segregation. I mean, segregation was probably a thing for a reason, right? I mean, I guess, I don't know, race relations right now are awful. I don't know. Maybe there's something to segregation. I don't know. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
Well, you did just kind of mention that that what they're doing now is the opposite of actual solutions. So maybe you could get into a little bit about what they are doing to that is not working, and what are some viable solutions, do you think?
Well, what they're doing,
aside from Jim Crow laws, of course,
Jim Crow. Yeah, the evil Jim Crow laws that Blacks operated better under. So what they are doing right now is essentially, they're the people who are in control of the system, as the cathedral, as some call it, which is like the coalition of like academia, the media, the institutions, all that. They are pushing for the non-white groups in the country to acknowledge that, or take on the worldview that, they are living essentially on enemy territory, that they're essentially an oppressed group who is living under, an oppressive racial group, which is white people. But I mean, me and you both know that that's not really the case. You know what I mean? No one's really oppressed. And I know that's kind of like basic, conservative talking points, like, oh, you're not oppressed, which I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously. But I think it gets a little deeper though, it goes deeper than that when you think about it, because it's more than, oh, you're a victim. It's you have to hate white people. And that's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing for Candace Owens or something to say, oh, like, they want Black people to think they're victims. It's like, yeah, that's true, but there's more to it. It's like they like literally are teaching Black people and non-whites to like hate white people. And, if it ever came down to it, and, there was ever like another Malcolm X or something like that character who's like, basically, would lead the non-white coalition to like a war, like an actual physical war against white people, like that wouldn't be too far-fetched, because look at the narrative already,
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't think they would be very successful at that, to be honest. But you are seeing some weird stuff. Like I think Washington D.C. fired their white police chief and replaced him with a black one, a black woman. And I've heard rumors that you might start seeing stuff like that in the military. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you did allude to you made a joke, but with blacks, operating better under segregation laws. But kind of right around the time of, I think, another thing, without getting too like in the weeds with that and getting me in trouble. So with more Nick, that's all I need. But around the same time, we also saw, like for basically the forced integration, we also saw basically the welfare system pop up, which essentially was designed to incentivize you not to have nuclear families.
Yeah.
So before that, Black community had nuclear families, had a network of their own businesses and basically their own economy that was functioning pretty well. And then along with integration seemed to be a concerted effort to destroy your families. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, from my understanding, blacks, had, an understanding of what the nuclear family is, and, were following that whole, tradition of, mom, dad, husband, wife, get together, have kids, they got married, so on and so forth, went to church every Sunday, lived, a Christian life for the most part, right? I mean, for the most part, that's how they operated under Jim Crow and all this. And I think kind of with the eve of like liberalism, as society started to get more liberal, and then you see like the rise of like hip hop and like gangster rap and and as those kind of like subversive cultural phenomena kind of took a hold of the black community, you start to see less and less of that traditional nuclear family structure going on. And it's to the point now, I forget what the statistic is. What is it, like 75% of black children are born out of wedlock? Is that 75 to 80%? I don't know. But I know it's like it's like most of it. It's like, you know what I mean? Which is pretty concerning. This definitely, and I think that's kind of the reason for like a lot of the like financial struggles and a lot of the problems in the black community with like the justice system. And I mean, I think personally it all stems back from just like the falling away from like the nuclear family, from Christianity, and just like the new black culture, is definitely very, very subversive and toxic for black people.
So you're telling me that problems with the black community are not from white oppressors and systematic racism?
Oh, did I say that? No. I totally meant to say it's all white people. It's totally the fault of racist Confederate Republicans, and that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, we love Israel and we love their country.
God bless Israel.
Love the Jewish people. Thank God for them.
We love them.
3 prostrations to the Jews.
Yes.
So my optics are on point tonight. It's great. Great.
Yeah, I gotta make my yearly trip to the wall so I can kiss it.
I actually went there before I was based, so
Oh, did you?
No, yeah,
It's interesting. I actually do want to go to Israel just because it's such a historical, holy like place. You know what I mean? Like Jesus literally lived there. Like you know what I mean? You could literally go and be where Jesus Christ, was. That's something I want to experience personally.
yeah. Well, I went to well, you should go because there's a Holy Sepulchre, which is where Christ was crucified. You can visit that, and you can go inside his tomb too.
Oh.
So,
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, a church is erected over his tomb. It's called the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and on every Orthodox Easter, the Holy Fire comes out of the tomb. So, if you never heard of that, you should YouTube the Holy Fire.
Oh, I never knew about that.
Yeah, so the bishop goes in with nothing but candles, no matches, no lighters, no nothing. And as soon as Pascha hits, the Holy Spirit just lights his candles. That's pretty cool. And it doesn't burn. Like people spread, you see people rubbing it in their faces, and it's crazy.
Huh.
Yeah. Kind of off topic, but
yeah, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. What was the last thing we were talking about? Oh, here's a good question. What are your thoughts on the Black Hebrew Israelites?
Very interesting question. So I'll tell you a little story. So I have a friend, right? And I've been kind of giving him the rundown on Christianity and Jesus Christ and all that for a couple years, and he's been following along. Good lifelong friend of mine. And one day he says, "Hey, yo, let's go to this Bible study." One of my coworkers, he invited me and one other friend to a Bible study. We should go. I'm like, okay, cool. Bible study sounds good. Sounds based. Let's go. So I get there and I walk in and right away something's off. I'm looking around and there's like the Star of David all over the place. And immediately I'm like, wait a minute, like what kind of Bible study is this? And at this point I had no clue what this whole thing was. And I see like a bunch of like black women, right? And I'm thinking like, oh, they're here for the Bible study too, I guess. Like, I don't know. And I see this guy come out and he's wearing like a pharaoh thing. And I'm just like, okay, like what is going on here? What's going on? And we sit down, and that's when I learned that all those women are his wives. And he is what's called a Black Hebrew Israelite, which I had no clue what that was at this time. And he was basically telling me how, white people are Edomites, I believe. Yeah, Edomites. And that there's no salvation for them. The salvation is only for the Hebrews, and which are black people, and some like Puerto Rican people, and some like Native American people, something like that. And the whole time I'm just like, I'm like, I gotta get the hell out of here, dude. Like I gotta get the hell out of here quick. You know what I mean? And not a good experience. Was very traumatized from that. But definitely a not so sane bunch of people. I will say that, not so sane.
So the real important question of the day is, how could you be a traitor to your race and marry a mulatto woman?
Well,
how could you do such a thing?
So me, I'm already a traitor. I've been a traitor to my race, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally cool with being a traitor to my race. I mean, Megan, being a mulatto, her mom's white, her dad's black. I was just talking to you about this before the show, but we traced back Megan's ancestry, and it turns out that she's actually her ancestry goes back to the founding stock of America that migrated from Britain in the 1600s. So, I mean, her family tree goes way back to the beginning of this country, right? And I'm like, so wait a minute. So your family had generations and generations, right, of all this, genealogical success and tradition and all that. And then your mom just goes and marries this black guy. What is this? What is this, man? So I'm like, but what's done is done. So and then I come along and it's like, it's over now. It's her family tree is just totally done now. Well, racially, they will, our children and our descendants will be strong traditional Christians and warriors for Christ and tradition in America. So that's at least a good thing, right? It's better than her being with some cucked white liberal. You know what I mean? So
I'm trying to figure out how to say this without getting clipped out of context. So, anyways, because then it's just going to be endless years of defending what I said. But,
yeah, I think I can get away with a lot of stuff because I'm black, so I think I can get away with it.
Yeah, but in general, I mean, I don't like. Who cares? Like, if people are married, obviously they should stay married, no matter what the that's. It's not like an Orthodox teaching against the Orthodox Church doesn't necessarily care about racial mixing. It's just But I think it's a valid concern. Some people want their kids to look like them, and there's nothing wrong with that. So
yeah, for sure. I agree.
Alex is giving you white creds, but Mark is likely part European too, being an African American. You got that 20% admixture going on, Mark?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm like German. I'm thinking I have strong German genes. I'm kidding, but on a serious note, I'm actually believe it or not, I'm actually not African American. So my mom was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and then my dad is from a country called Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. So I'm basically like an islander. You know what I mean? I guess if you trace it way back, maybe I have roots in Africa. I probably obviously do, but for the most part, I'm like an islander. I'm not exactly African American. I'm like Caribbean American. It's like whatever. I don't really care.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing basically. I'm not white. I'm not white, so who cares?
But anyways, have you been paying attention to the Biden administration and what we might see as far as anti-white stuff coming out of it?
Yeah, man, this country is pretty much done, dude. No, I don't want to say that. I'm kidding. It's not done, but we're definitely gonna be in a period of just evil, just totally the opposite of everything we believe in. We're just gonna see that, if everything, if the Joe Biden administration really does get in, and if Trump really does give up. There's some evidence to suggest that he's not exactly given up yet, but we really have we have no idea what's going to happen as far as that goes. I don't think Kamala Harris has left her seat yet, which is weird because it's 6 days left, and so I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, that's why I'm in West Virginia right now. I'd invite you guys to come out here too, but I don't want to mess the demographics up,
Right. We don't want to ruin the majority rule right now.
Yeah. So what did you think about all that on the 6th? Were you there? You were there, right? Well, I don't want to get you. Don't say too much. You weren't.
No, I was there. I didn't go inside, but I was there in the lawn. Me and Megan, we were chilling for a little bit. We were only there for 30 minutes, and then people were just being regular. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary, and then we saw the people in the front, and then we started seeing people coming out with like tear gas all over them and like crying and stuff because they had tear gas like in their eye. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now's a good time to leave. So we went back to the hotel, and we went with Bryson Gray and Shekinah, a couple other people, good friend of mine.
Wait,
and,
Shekinah Hollingsworth?
I don't know her last name, but she's dating Bryson.
Because I know a Shekinah. I don't know if it's the same one.
Probably. Yeah, she was involved with like Brexit as well.
She ever been on Fox News?
Maybe. Very, very, very possibly. She was on Vice. I know that Vice did like a whole thing with her. But yeah, we went there with Bryson, her, a couple other people, Mikkel, Crump, and we were there for a little bit. I mean, so I have a whole theory on what went down that day, right? And yeah, I mean, I just got off a 12-hour ban for on Twitter for saying that Trump supporters did nothing wrong on the 6th at the Capitol, and they suspended my account for 12 hours. I just got off of it, and I'm under the impression that the whole thing was totally orchestrated, totally staged. There was even reports coming out about the Capitol being stormed at 9 a.m. on the 6th, when none of that happened until well into like 1-2 o'clock in the PM. I think that a lot of the things that happened in there were staged, were fake. Personally, I think the whole world's a stage. I mean, it's a strong possibility. The whole, everything's kind of like a movie, right? But I still have some hope in like, how things turn out. I'm not one of those people who say I know things for sure. I kind of have these like different possibilities. It's very possible that, everything was staged, including like even like the woman who was shot. I did watch a video, and the video actually of like the incident, and it's just like there's a lot of things that were just weird. And one person kind of broke down all the like weird things that happened to Ashley Babbitt. Like a lot of things didn't make sense. I don't know if you like looked into that at all, or if you even want to talk about that, but there's a couple.
Not really. I mean, I had some friends there, and obviously it seemed like organic to them. And then they were at first a little bit offended by the notion that it might have been instigated, and because they're like, oh, we did this and it was epic, and now you're trying to take credit away. But
I mean, I can understand that point of view as well. But I mean, look at what they used this as a pretext for so many things. Everything that's happening right now is because of what happened at the Capitol. You know what I mean? And it almost seems like it's not organic. Like everyone was just ready. All the Republicans who were going to object, everybody was just ready to turn their back on Trump, turn their back, big tech. All the big tech companies were all ready at the same time. Everything seemed very coordinated. The world leaders, I mean, to me, everything looked coordinated. If you actually watch the video, it's really weird. So like the guy, right, he shoots the gun. And first of all, nobody flinches. Nobody flinches. Right before, if you watch the video, right before the gunshot goes off, one of the SWAT people gives a thumbs up to the guy with the gun. And then he turns and he shoots. Now he's on the left, right? And Ashley Babbitt's on the right. So if he shot her in the neck, it should have been right here on the left. But then she falls, right? On her backpack, which cushioned her fall, right? The gunshot wound is somehow here. There's no blood spurting, right? As soon as she gets on the floor, her head is in the way of the pillar, right? Her head is behind the pillar and is in the way of the cameras, right? So they immediately pick her up and move her literally not even like 2 feet away. They literally all pick her up and move her 2 feet so that the cameras can see her, right? And there's so many weird things. If you watch all the Trump supporters in that room, a lot of them wore masks. I would say like 50 to 60% of them were wearing masks, which makes no sense because if you were in DC, even in the hotels, Trump supporters were not wearing masks. So how is it that, why were these characters wearing masks, number one? Number two, the guy who did the interview with the journalist afterwards, when she gets shot, he's on his phone like this. He's like on his phone, no flinching, nothing. It's like, it's almost like they all expected it to happen. Right. And and why didn't they clear the room out? Like someone just got shot. And the SWAT team or whoever, like the police officers in all black and the big rifles, they had their guns not at the ready, they had it at the relax the entire time. A gunshot just went off. You're telling me that the people on the other side, those other officers aren't gonna they were all at the relax and they didn't clear the room out, nothing. None of it makes sense. None of it adds up. There's a thread on Twitter that it's like a 50-part thread and it goes through every single inconsistency and every single thing that doesn't make sense. And I mean, would it really be that surprising? I mean, they've been doing false flags for what? Since before we were born. So it's like how far-fetched is it to believe that this was all staged? It's not really a crazy like, oh, this can't be, like, they've been doing this for so long.
Also, if it was like, I don't know, they let them in, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, they let them in.
Yeah.
Why would they let them in? Why do you think they would let them in?
Well, I mean, my initial thought was there was such an overwhelming amount of people, but that's actually not true after I've seen the like, I thought maybe it was a tactical calculation just to maximize or minimize any sort of potential bloodshed, et cetera, et cetera. But it really wasn't all that many people that moved over to the Capitol after the speech.
No, and it wasn't many people who like actually went into the building. You can see them. Yeah, there's so many footage or so much videos. You can see them literally like opening the doors, opening the gates. You know what I mean? The one black security guard who was at the doorway, and then there's a baton, which is out and ready, just on the floor behind him. He like backs up and picks it up. None of it looks natural. Like anyone who's been in like a organic situation, intense situation, they can look at that and tell like this doesn't look organic. This doesn't look natural. Also, a lot of the characters that like kind of sprung up, like that one pagan guy, Pagan Jake. I've been looking a lot into him. Very freaky dude, man. I mean, he says in an interview that he's a shaman. He's a multi-dimensional being who transcends different dimensions. He does like a weird ritual before every like rally, before and after every rally. And he's always right where the cameras are. You know what I mean? And if you look at his thing, he's actually an actor too. Which is very interesting. I don't know, like none of it I don't know. None of it looks real to me. It's definitely raises some eyebrows.
Interesting. Where do you I guess this is more of a general question. What do you think our future, I guess, as conservatives, traditionalists, what do you think the future holds for us? How can we navigate this coming troubles, it seems? What are your suggestions?
So I have some different, opinions. Like I have this possibility. I think it's a strong possibility that we are actually like living in end times right now. That's a possibility. It's also a possibility that things are going to be really bad for the next couple decades. That's a possibility. I'm of the belief that there are many possibilities, and I don't really know what is going to happen for sure. But I mean, I have been looking into kind of like it's kind of like some weird things about kind of the time period we're living in, right? I mean, you have September 23rd, 2017. I don't know if you're aware of the sign with Virgo, and Revelation 12 talks about it. Did you know much about this?
Well, I try to not get into that stuff too much. When I read Revelation, I'm reading it through probably a different lens, so to speak. I'll leave it at that.
Do you take the Bible literally?
No, it's a theological work, not a scientific text.
Interesting. I take the Bible very literally.
Well, I mean, some parts are literal, other parts are not. So, I mean, there's different layers of meaning to Scripture, and you have to use I would look at the church fathers for understanding of the early church fathers commentary for how to understand text. And otherwise, what you end up getting is hundreds of different people reading the Scripture and 100 different interpretations. That's why you have thousands of denominations. So, so you have to look at Scripture is certainly authoritative, but it has to be understood within the tradition of the church.
I think that's an interesting perspective. Yeah, I take the Bible 100% literally.
100%, right? Let me see those sideburns, bro.
The sideburns, they're I just got them shaped up and all that. So
See, there you go. Violating the law, violating the first covenant, bro.
Well, I mean, the thing is, nobody can keep 100% of the law, right? I mean, that's why the sacrifice. That's why Jesus sacrificed himself, right? I mean,
well, we don't. You should watch my episode with David Patrick Harry of Church of the Eternal Logos.
Okay.
He'll kind of that'll be a good little starting point for you probably to understand. Okay. I guess the Orthodox perspective on some of these things. So,
sure thing.
But how would you suggest that? I guess conservatives, like within the movement, what do we do?
I would say right now, in this point in time, a lot of the boomer Republicans, a lot of the conservatives, right? I mean, they've been stabbed in the back probably more than anybody, right? I mean, they put a lot of trust into a lot of these Republican establishment people, in Congress, like, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and Dan Crenshaw and all that, Mike Pence, you know what I mean? They put up their trust in a lot of these people, and they totally got, stabbed right in the back. So they're feeling it. They're feeling it pretty bad. I think that an America First message, an America First kind of outlook would be probably now would be the best time to kind of bring that upon them, because everything that they kind of have thought seems to be crumbling, and I think now is the time to kind of wake people up to nationalism, and it's going to be rough with all the online censorship, but I mean, it does seem like we're kind of being pushed more and more to these fringer corners of the internet. So maybe as we all kind of gather on Gab, or we all gather on, you know what I mean, there can really be a really strong, coalition there.
Yeah. Well, I was actually texting Vincent yesterday or the day before, Vincent James. Mm-hmm. And I was just mentioning that, this is kind of a good, it's interesting that all of these even the kind of normie con, even the grifters that were on the MAGA train, all the people that were calling us white supremacists and all that crap,
Yeah.
they were getting treated the exact same way as us now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Vincent was like, well, that's kind of a good thing, don't you think?
Yeah.
So,
good point.
yeah, I mean, obviously some eyes are going to be open or are being open that weren't before.
Yeah, I think so. For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
and in one way, I don't even know if this is a good strategy for the left because they're kind of forcing us to, like, they're debanking us by kicking us off their website, their social media platforms. Some of them are even firing people for being Trump supporters. All that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think they're banking on pressuring us to cave. But I think what might actually happen is that they're going to force us to create a parallel system to their system, which would ultimately make them weaker and give us more leverage than they think that they're giving us. Makes sense. But the problem is conservatives are never we just have to stop being so addicted to this principle over just turnabout fair play. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if
Right.
you're a conservative business owner, stop hiring liberals.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
screw that. Screw them. And we have to stop caring. Like, stop caring what they think about us. Like,
Yeah.
I personally, like, you know, I had some people message me like, this makes us look terrible, blah, 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 over the Capitol stuff. I said, who cares?
Right.
Really? Who cares what the media says and who cares what liberals think at this point? Literally, who gives a crap?
Yeah, I know. They already think that we're the worst people in the world. So it's like, you know, if they're going to say we're terrorists, is that really much different from what they said were saying before? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, honestly.
Well, the only concerning part of that is there's actionable legal things that if they can actually define us as terrorists legally, then there's some implications that will. But that's an escalation. I don't think they're realizing, like, you can only push people so far.
Yeah.
With it before it turns into something else that I won't mention.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do want to encourage, because people are obviously going to be watching this. Don't be an idiot. Don't do anything by yourself. If what I'm alluding to does come about, I think it will be done with some organization that is bigger than just you being an idiot. So especially with the gun legislation, I think some states will probably, I would say, move to a deep red state and follow the lead of your state. I think is the smartest play.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a blue area, no offense, Mark, but you should probably leave.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
It's not smart to be living the urban life right now.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, we don't live in the city or anything, but we live like probably like 20, 30 minutes from the city. So we are actually looking to move kind of like where the Amish people live, which is only like 20
Actually,
minutes.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm not far from Somerset County, but
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, I don't know how you're probably pretty far from that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I am
Yeah.
hours away from any major city, like hours.
Oh wow, that's
Nice.
good.
It's nice. When I look out my window, there's mountains everywhere. It's awesome.
That's beautiful. That's kind of what we want.
Yeah.
That's
Y'all
awesome.
should. Well, you know, we'll talk offline. I'm building I do have an Orthodox community initiative project going on.
Oh yeah.
So I should have posted my email, but if anybody wants to email me about that, it's contact@saintsedwardsmedia.com. So it's on the website. Email's on the website. But or michael.cisco@saintsedward.com will work too. So anyways, any final thoughts, Mark? Any final thoughts on black and white people?
Yeah. I don't think we can coexist. We have to separate.
Man. So you're going on Malcolm X style?
Yeah, but I want to be with the white people though.
So you want to come out to West Virginia then? As long as you don't intermix with my fellow white people, I don't mind you coming out here.
I would love to just like live there and then just kind of like, just perpetuate white culture through my black skin.
Can we hang a Confederate flag off the back of your F-350?
Hell yeah, you can. Absolutely. I'll be hanging one off the side of my window. Long live the Confederacy. Kidding. Jokes. Just joking.
Just dance, man. Just dance. Yeah, I don't think the YouTube censors are gonna care that we're joking, but it's okay. I don't care. I am also looking for a new platform, people. So I especially want to replace DLive because they cucked so hard and banned Fuentes. So I'm not really interested in staying on DLive. Yeah. YouTube, since I'm monetized, I want to milk these assholes for every penny that I can before they kick me off. And Periscope is just who watches Periscope. So
right. Periscope.
Yeah. I'm trying to move. I also, this is my first show not broadcast on the Facebook. So
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm deleting Facebook and Twitter by the end of the month.
Holy crap, that's crazy.
Only on Telegram and Gab for now. And I have Instagram, but I'm deleting that too. So
Yeah, I haven't posted on any of my Facebook pages since everything was happening with the Capitol. My plan is to just kind of wait till things cool down, if they do, and then continue to post. Because I know if I post any of my takes right now, they'll do something to my page, whether they'll throttle my reach or they'll just take me out totally. So I'm not even touching Facebook until things, I guess, cool off.
Yeah. I got John mad that I said we don't take the scriptures literally. I mean, I think it depends on what you're reading in the scripture. So, but they all have different layers of meaning, and the church fathers will go through the different layers of meaning in their commentary. So, anyway,
I do have a question.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I did have a question for you in regards to that. So, so under Orthodoxy, what is the belief? How does one achieve eternal life through the belief of Orthodox?
Really, the last 6 minutes of the show, bro.
Well, I mean, it should be simple.
We have a process for us. It's not like a instant decision and you're saved. It's not like a microwave. It's a process towards what we call deification or theosis. You have to actively embrace repentance and make a decision to do it. So it's not, for us, it's not grace opposed to works. It's they work together. To us, those are inseparable.
Grace plus works.
Yeah, it's not an either or for us. But salvation is a process, and it is found. We are given the sacraments of the church as a means to get there, basically, as a assistant. They're like the sacraments of the church assist us in that journey. So
interesting.
that's in a nutshell. Obviously, I'm not.
Yeah. Just short answer. Okay. No, I was just curious. I wanted to know if it was like grace plus works, or was it grace, or was it?
It's both.
It's both. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that makes sense when you look at the scriptures, which is another reason why the extreme hard literal approach is difficult, because you have Galatians saying one thing, James saying one thing, and so like if you're completely disregarding the book of James, well, that's a problem, right? So, yeah. So I mean, we're probably arguing over semantics with me and the guy in the chat, but he's not mad. So, don't worry, I will send you plenty of Jay Dyer videos and the episode that I did with David Patrick Harry. So, cool. Yeah. Before you go, any book recommendations? One reading suggestion for the audience? Besides the Bible, can't be the Bible.
Yeah, it can't be the Bible. That's a given. I like.
It can't be what you showed me earlier either.
No, can't be that. Can't be that. No. I don't know. None of the books I read are optical, so I really couldn't. I really couldn't say any.
Come on, man! Come on! You can get away with any of them except for.
There's one. Open Borders Inc. by Michelle Malkin. There we go.
That's a good one. I read that book. It's kind of a lot of numbers in the beginning.
Yeah, it is. It's a good read once you get through.
Yeah, you got to get through like the first couple chapters, and then
and then you start hitting the good stuff.
Yeah. Malkin's awesome. Have you met her?
I never met her, but I will one day, I'm sure. We'll probably run into each other. I'm always in DC, and I'm always going to these different things. So
met her at AFPAC. So she's like,
which I will be. I will be at the next AFPAC, by the way. Me and Megan will be there. Nice. So if anyone's gonna be there,
when is it?
End of February. Because that's when CPAC is.
I kind of want to go, but I kind of don't want to leave West Virginia yet.
Yeah. No, it's probably so nice, man. I would love to be out in somewhere like that.
I'm also like getting settled in, so it's like, you know.
Yeah, you want to experience.
I want to spend the money on stuff around my house instead of traveling, and you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, we did get a super chat, $5 super chat, big money today, huge. The methodology of life and understanding of God and His nature. A nice phrase in Orthodoxy is both and. There are no dialectics in Orthodoxy. So that word will probably mean nothing to you until you start watching Jay Dyer. So
okay.
We'll get you hooked up. So anyways, where can people follow you? Are you staying on Twitter forever, or are you switching over to Gab?
Until they take me off. Yeah, I'll be on Twitter at Mark Lutchman. Facebook, I'm not posting until everything cools off, but you can find me there as well, Mark Lutchman. Gab, I tried to make a Gab account the other day and the site was down, so I guess I'll try again tonight. But when I do, it'll be at Mark Lutchman, same thing. I'm like the only Mark Lutchman in the world, apparently. So
it was
I have no problem. Yeah,
it was working pretty good last night and this morning, Gab. But yeah, I think it's getting better. They got them servers up, so. But
good stuff.
Anyways, thanks for coming on. If you want to hang tight, I'll get you. I want to ask you one thing off.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for coming on, kind of back on the show, because this is really your second appearance. But
yeah, it is.
So, all right. See you guys. I think I will not be doing a show Sunday because I'm traveling to get stuff to bring to my house, my new apartment. So I'll see you guys next Thursday.